Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. In today's video, I am sharing what I plan on using for our morning basket, also known as our family subjects or group subjects, in our homeschool for the 2023-2024 homeschool year. So if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls ages 11 and 14. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. So Lydia's going to be going into the 6th grade. Bella's going to be going into the 9th grade. This is the first time I don't have any kids that are in elementary school, so things are looking really different and I've been a little emotional about it, but I'm okay. It's actually a really fun time. I feel like with my kids being older, we can really dive deep into certain subjects and just have a blast. And so it has been more fun in our homeschool. But I did want to say that what I'm sharing with you today is kind of like our family subjects, group subjects, things like that. So we're going to be covering like a certain, we're going to study one specific area in history. And then I'm going to talk about, tying in some art, music, poetry, things like that into this group subject morning basket time. So also, before I forget, we also do our read out loud during morning time as well. So I'm going to continue to call it morning time because that's what I call it in my house. But just know this is something that we do all together as a family. So there's that. But yeah, because I'm going to keep on stumbling if I keep on saying family subjects. But yeah, so this is what we do in our morning time. Now, for the actual subject that I chose, it's completely different than the way I've been doing my morning baskets over the past, I don't know, probably like 5 years. Normally what I do in our morning time or in our morning basket is I choose a theme and we just change the theme every month, and I kind of base it off of an area that I feel my kids are either struggling with and they need to learn a little bit more about, or I just allow them to choose a theme and I create a basket around what they want or around holidays or seasons. I'm not going to do that this year. It's going to be completely different, and I'm actually really excited about kind of sticking to one topic for a while. So in this morning time, I don't know how long this theme, I guess you can say, is going to last. So this can be a semester, this can be a quarter, this can be the entire school year. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. And what I chose to do for our theme is actually American history or US history, anything like that. Now, the reason why I chose this, there was 2 reasons that I chose American history for our theme, for our basket for the 2023-2024 homeschool year. And that is because my oldest daughter, who is going into the 9th grade, Bella, she will not be taking an actual history course. Now, in our state, it's only required to have 3 years of history. And usually it's her sophomore year, I think it's American history, her junior year is world history, and then her senior year is government econ. So in her freshman year, they don't take any kind of history. So I do have her mapped out to take a world geography course for a semester for elective credits, but I kind of wanted to focus on American history as well. So I thought this would be a good way to fit in some history on a year that she's not going to be taking a course in history, if that makes sense. Now, for my youngest daughter, if you watched some of my videos before, you'll know that I was struggling finding a history program for her. And it wasn't that I didn't find one that I liked. It was more that I didn't find one that she liked. So, and I do like to allow my kids to have a say in the curriculum that we use and what we learn about and things like that. So, sorry, I have dog hair. There we go, dog hair in my eye. But so what I wanted to do is I really wanted to focus on history because, like I was saying, my youngest daughter, she will be using the Good and the Beautiful's History Year 2 this upcoming school year. But we have already worked through all 4 of the Good and the Beautiful cycles. Is that how you would say it? Like the 4-year cycle. So we're actually redoing these, and I just wanted something kind of fresh, which is, I guess, kind of weird because history isn't really fresh, but you know what I mean. So I kind of wanted something fresh as well, and I thought American history would be fantastic. Now, when I say we're going to be studying American history, I want to study it from kind of like a different angle, kind of hit different areas from what we've learned about in the past. One thing to know is that when I teach history, I like to teach the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't like to teach just a one-sided, one way, this is, you know what I mean? I like to kind of, I don't sugarcoat history for my kids. I never really have. Just kind of age-appropriate lessons throughout history is how I've always done it. And this year, I'm actually really excited because like I was saying, I wanted to hit history from a different angle. So using our morning basket or our morning time to do this is going to be a lot of fun because we could do it in bite-sized pieces. It doesn't have to be like this huge, 4-hour lesson on, one certain thing. We could learn about whatever we want in American history through our morning time. So, first of all, let me just say we always start our morning time, we always start our day with our read out loud. I did share the 20 books that I chose for our read out louds for this school year. I will link that video if you are interested because I feel like I chose some good ones. Now, I was going to theme our read out louds to our theme of our morning basket, which is American history. I was going to do that, but I was having such a hard time because we had read so many of the books that would work well with this basket. So I decided to just make our read out loud something that we have been wanting to read instead of theming it along with our basket. But I will link that video below. Now, when I talk about wanting to hit American history from a different angle, I decided that I wanted to incorporate more about military history as well because that's an area that we haven't really studied too much on. So for like a kind of spine or like daily lessons that we'll do during our morning time, well, technically it would be Monday through Thursday, the way it'll be scheduled out for this. We are going to actually be doing Campfire Curriculum, the United States Military, and this is the advanced guidebook. So this actually goes into more detail about the United States military, which again is an area that we didn't really focus on. So this is something that I wanted to do. Now, I didn't print the whole book out because I'm not sure if I'm actually going to print it all out or if I'm just going to use it digitally. I think it's really, really neat. I did print out the table of contents so you could kind of see what we will be covering. So each day we will just read from this guidebook for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we will just move on and, work out of some of these other books that I have that I'm going to be showing you. And I am going to be looping the books. We're not going to be doing every single one of these books every single day. We will loop through them. So, if I read from one day, I'll pick up a different one the next day and so forth. But what I like about this is that it is through like telling a story. And I just have some notes here from this company, but they recommend shorter lessons. So you would only be working on this for about 30 minutes a day. And you just kind of set a timer. Once it goes off, you just stop. No matter where you are, you just stop. It is open and go, so you don't really have to prep much for anything. They do include like handicrafts, but it's not necessarily busy work. It's like something fun and it's optional. You don't have to do it. And this is the part that I love the most. With Campfire Curriculum, there's not a ton of worksheets, if any. We're not a worksheet family. I don't like a lot of busy work with my kids being older. I find it different if my kids need help in an area, but I don't like to just prolong a lesson for the sake of doing a worksheet. So there's that. So I like that there's not really any worksheets with this course. I do like that it is color-coded, this guidebook and everything. It is a living book format, so it kind of has that little Charlotte Mason feel too. So you're reading a story and kind of following a storyline while learning about these, opposed to just like, kind of dry information. Also, what I like about this is that there are core connections where you can tie in other subjects of school. So if you want to tie in language arts, if you want to tie in math, things like that, there are ideas in this guidebook that you can do that. And another thing that I really enjoyed about this one, I haven't done it yet. I'm talking about like I've done it, but what I noticed when I was flipping through it, when I was going through it on my computer, is that they have a section where there are faith talks, or what was the other one called? Think tanks. So they have this area where there's questions and discussion questions and things like that based off of what you learned that are either, faith related, or if you want to keep this more secular, you can do the think tank discussion questions. And I really like that. We'll probably do both. I kind of use both faith-based and secular curriculum. Doesn't really bother me which one I use, but we'll probably use both of the discussion questions. But I love that they included these because morning time is like one of my favorite times for us to have those types of conversations, to really dive deep, to really get my kids' opinions on what we're learning. And so having these discussion questions already ready, I do like that as well. So I just think that this is going to be a really great one to kind of learn more about American, I almost said American history. What am I talking about? What am I trying to say? The United States military. There we go. I think that this is going to be a really fun unit to do. And again, we'll just focus on 30 minutes a day until we're done. And then on top of this, I'm going to be adding in some other really great things that again are kind of like things that we never really studied in depth. So we will be focusing on, I'm really excited about this one. I don't know how my kids are going to feel, but I'm excited about this one. We are going to be studying American speeches. This is something that just I would be really interested in. These are really important speeches throughout American history. And it's like, I don't know, this is the type of stuff I love. This is stuff that I really enjoy. And I think that it's really important for my kids to hear a lot of these speeches that made a difference throughout history. So with this book, I mean, there are so many speeches in here. Let me try and show you. Here's the table of contents. I mean, there are speeches from Sojourner Truth, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Lou Gehrig, Pearl Buck, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Susan B. Anthony. I mean, there are so many. Here's a little flip through. There are so many speeches throughout here, throughout all different time frames. And this book is, again, specific to American speeches. Because when I was looking for something like this, I was finding a lot of like world speeches, which was something I was really considering. But that I feel like would have been a lot. It would have been a lot for us. But American speeches we're going to be studying in our morning time. And I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, we might just pick one speech every couple days and run with that. So I don't really have anything mapped out exactly. I kind of want to see how it's going to go. So yeah, American speeches is something we're going to be studying in our morning time as a family. And again, another thing that I'm really looking forward to, this one, I feel like I put this basket together for me, but this one is Keys to American History, Understanding Our Most Important Historic Documents. So this one is something that we're going to be working out of, again, maybe a couple times a week, where we're just diving deeper into these historical documents, which is another reason why I wanted my kids to learn cursive, you know, to make sure that they can continue to read these historical documents in their original state, if that makes sense. But this one, like, it goes over the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Articles of Confederation, the U.S. Constitution, the Fugitive Slave Act, Louisiana Purchase, Missouri Compromise, Monroe Doctrine, Gettysburg Address, Emancipation Proclamation, the 19th Amendment, Civil Rights Act, Patriot Act, and many more. This one, again, I don't know much about, you know, what's inside these books, but they sound really interesting. So I'm really excited to use them. But here's just a little bit of a peek inside of this one. Again, you could probably even hear in my voice and in my hand movements about how excited I am to do something like this with my kids. I just think that these are very important things to learn about. And I just feel that this year is the perfect time with my kids being older. Now, another way that I wanted to kind of tie in different angles of American history is through some fun as well. And so, you know, you learn about like Johnny Appleseed, you learn about John Henry, you learn about Paul Bunyan, you learn about all of these like male, like folk heroes and, you know, legends and all of that. But we never really stop to think about females in this same way, at least in our family. So I bought this book called Cut from the Same Cloth, and it's American Women of a Myth, Legend, and Tall Tale. So I thought that this would be really, really fantastic to add into our morning time. Again, we might read it a couple times a week. I don't know. But the back of this one, it says, everyone knows, wow, just what I was saying. Everyone knows about Paul Bunyan, Johnny Appleseed, and Davy Crockett, but have you ever heard of these larger-than-life women? From Bess Call, who wrestles any and all challengers, to Molly Cottontail, who can outwit any critter in the woods. So it's just another angle, you know, to American history, and it's bringing, you know, American women from myth, legend up front, you know, something that we can learn about, take some time and just have fun with these. I love reading about myths and legends. I just, from all over, it doesn't have to be American, but from all over, I just find it very fascinating. So I think that my girls are really going to enjoy this book. Now, we have studied the U.S. presidents, you know, throughout the decade that I've been homeschooling. We've studied U.S. presidents and all of that, but we never really stopped to think about the first ladies. So what I decided to do is, for one, I thought it would be a good year to redo some information on the presidents of the United States. So I have this book. A lot of these books I actually already had on my shelf, except for, I think, these two. These I did purchase brand new. But this one I already had on my shelf, so I thought that we'll learn again about some presidents and things like that. So we'll slowly work through this book until we're done. Again, I don't know how long any of this is going to take. But what I decided to do is also, when we read about the president in this book, on that same day, we will read about the First Lady. And this is another way that I could tie in kind of like a different way of learning about American history, or a different type of American history. So I thought that this would be a lot of fun. It's not a super thick book, but I think that it would be great if we kind of did these ones together. So here's a little quick flip of what it looks like on the inside. So as we learn about the presidents, we will also learn about the first ladies. Now, to tie in some music and some art and some poetry, I did kind of want to theme some of that with that American history like vibe I'm trying to do. And so these I already had on my shelf. I only have 2 American composer books. I have John Philip Sousa, and then I have Aaron Copland. Why can't I say that right? Copeland? Am I saying that right? I don't know. But I'll be using these. These are the Getting to Know the World's Greatest Composers. And again, these are American composers. So I did decide to add in a little bit different angle when it comes to music that we'll be doing on Fridays, which I'll share with you in a moment. But everything I'm sharing right now is stuff that we're going to be working on Monday through Thursday. Is going to be that like American history type of learning, I guess you could say. But I only have 2 of these. So I did want to incorporate some more music, but I decided to go with something different on Fridays. So we'll go through these whenever we get through them, we'll see. And then for American artists, I have this book called 13 American Artists Children Should Know. It's just a perfect time for me to use this. So I thought that, you know, we can maybe do one artist a week or one artist every couple weeks, who knows? But this is all American artists. So I think that this is going to be fantastic to add in. And again, it shows you some art by the artist, a little bit like a mini biography of the artist. And it's very straight to the point. And that's what I like about these books, is that it's nothing that's like super drawn out. So there's that. Now for poetry, I want to use this book called My America, a Poetry Atlas of the United States. This book looks fantastic. Now, I've never used it, but what it is, it's basically like a poem from every state throughout the United States. And I just love that, because when we're doing this, we're also going to be focusing on the landmarks within that state. So I think that this would be a lot of fun as well. So you have, let me see if I could find a good page to show you. Yeah, so you see you have like the different states, and it has like different information about the state. So it'll go over like the capital, it goes over the tree, the flower, the bird, the area, the nickname, the motto of each state, and then you have a poem from each state. And I just think that that is super fantastic. You can see it has some maps in here so you can see where that state is actually located. I think that this is fantastic. So as we go through the states, what I'm also going to be doing, like I was saying, is I'm going to pull up on the computer, because I couldn't find a good landmark book. If you know of a good like US landmark book, let me know in the comment section. I would love some feedback on that. But when we are going through this, I'm also going to be pulling up famous landmarks from that state. And we will also be cooking a meal, like one of the most famous meals from that state as well. Again, I like to pull from all different angles, and food is one of those things that my kids really enjoy incorporating. So again, we will be tying in landmarks with this book, and we will be tying in food with this book as well. So I'm really excited about this one. Now, these next 2 items I'm going to be sharing you, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use them, but I'm really, really considering it. And the first book is America's National Parks. I love the idea about learning about all the different national parks throughout our country, and this book is really beautiful. So I'm like really considering it, but I got to see how I'm going to fit everything in still. So we'll see how it goes. I do think that I do think I'm going to use it. I do think I'm going to use it. But I just think that this book is beautiful. And again, it's kind of pulling in things that we haven't really studied in too much depth before. So that's another reason why I want to do that. Now, this book, again, I will probably pull pieces from this book. But this book is called Let Freedom Ring. Now, this is a very beautiful book as well. And this book, it has letters, speeches, songs, recipes, facts, literature, poetry, essays, historical documents, all about America. So again, I think I'm just going to be pulling pieces from this book, but it is a beautiful book. Like, here's the Star Spangled Banner. It is a really beautiful book. It has a lot of great information in here. So I do think I'm going to incorporate it, but I don't think I'll use it in its entirety. So there's that. But that is pretty much what I have to use for like the American history part of our morning time. Now, I wanted to make sure that we were still studying art in a different way and music in a little bit different way. So I do have a few more resources I wanted to share with you, but these resources will only be used on Friday. So these are going to be our Friday morning time. So our Friday morning time kind of looks like read out loud, and then we jump into these. So, because again, every day we start with read out loud. Now, what I've noticed in the past year or so is we weren't incorporating a ton of like nature study. We weren't incorporating a lot of that. Like, we would go on walks, we would do little things like that, but we weren't really doing much more to incorporate like nature. So what I wanted to do is on Fridays, just read a few bits of information out of this, The Wonders of Nature book. This is a beautiful book. I actually just showed it, I think, on a haul video. I just got it off of BookOutlet not that long ago. What was that? Oh, that was my phone. Okay, but so you can see, like in here, it talks about green algae. It talks about a whole bunch of, wonders in nature. And so I think I'm going to be reading through this a little bit at a time every Friday for my kids. This is something that my youngest daughter will eat up. She loves anything nature, and it always makes me feel bad when we don't do much nature study. Now, another way that I wanted to tie in nature, but tie it in with art, is I wanted to kind of focus on practicing a certain style of art, like creating our own. So I decided to purchase this book. It's called Watercolor in Nature, Paint Woodland, Wildlife, and Botanicals with 20 beginner-friendly projects. This book looks beautiful. So I thought that this book looked absolutely amazing, and this will give us every Friday that opportunity to create our own art. I'm hoping my kids will like it. I think that my youngest daughter is going to really enjoy it because it's nature-y, but my kids don't really like to be told how to create their art, which is totally fine with me. But this kind of gives us that step-by-step guide about how to do some watercolor, so I think that that is great. But let me see if I could pull. So it talks about materials that you might be needing, warm hues, but look at some of these pictures that they will teach you how to paint. I just think they are so, so beautiful. So, they kind of start with like that sketching process, and then it goes into like how to put in the watercolor. So I really think that this book is going to be beautiful. Again, it's just something we're going to do on Fridays. I needed something that when the weather is bad, we have something to do if we can't go for our walk, or if it's too hot, we have something to do because we can't really go outside. So I think that this would be perfect for that. I think my kids will enjoy this one. And again, it's only going to be on Fridays, so it's not a lot. Now, the last thing that we're going to be kind of doing throughout morning time, and again, this is just on Fridays, is we're actually going to be working through Living Harmonies. Now, this is from Thistles and Biscuits, and this is a music program, but this is music from around the world. I think my kids are really going to enjoy hearing all different styles and types of music, all different genres from all over the world. Now, again, this is only going to be on Fridays because we are going to be doing like some American composers and music that way. But I think that this looks absolutely beautiful. I've never heard of Thistles and Biscuits before, and I just think that they offer so many beautiful things on their website. It was actually really hard for me to choose. And again, the pictures are like hand done and extremely beautiful. But I don't know much about this curriculum, so I'm just going to read a little bit that they actually had in their guide, just so you could get a little bit more of an idea. They talk about how Living Harmonies is a year-long curriculum based on the study of 10 musical genres, dedicating 3 weeks to each one. You will also find an introductory lesson, 2 fusion overviews, and a conclusion, totaling 34 lessons. It says, ideally, choose one weekday to include music into your schooling schedule and simply work through one lesson each week. If you want to complete the curriculum in a single term, simply increase the number of lessons you complete in a week. So again, at your own kind of pace, but if you do one a week, there's 34 lessons to work through. And it even says here, please note that you do not need to print this manual. It's actually really nice to use it digitally because there are links and stuff that you could click on that will take you into, diving a little bit deeper into these lessons. So I just think that this is fantastic. I mean, it goes over like an introduction to, like global fusions, cumbia music, Scandinavian folk music, just so much American folk music, which was another reason why I wanted to pull this one in as well, because we're again studying, American history. So it's just, there's so many things, so many genres, jazz. I mean, it just looks fantastic. And again, look at this. That's hand done. That is absolutely beautiful. So I am really, really looking forward to this. Like I said, I don't know much about this curriculum, so I don't know, I don't really have much to say other than it looks fantastic and the pictures are absolutely beautiful. And what they're talking about is something that just sounds absolutely amazing. So we are going to be trying Living Harmonies from Thistles and Biscuits for the first time this upcoming school year. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I will leave their website down below in case you're interested. I'm actually thinking about printing the whole thing out and maybe doing a flip through so you can get like a good look inside. But I don't know. We'll see what I do. We'll see. So another thing to kind of go with this is I do have this virtual reality world atlas. So I was thinking, as we are learning about the different different musics, that sounded weird. As we're learning about the different music from around the world, if there is any information on this in this World Atlas thing, I'll kind of incorporate this at the same time. These are a lot of fun. I also have the human body one. You can get these off of Amazon, but well, let me just show you now that I'm talking about it. Let me just show you. But this one is, as I was saying, World Atlas. So as we learn about different areas of either the United States or different areas of the world to kind of tie in with our music, there is this book. And it goes over different areas of the world. It does have some landmarks and things like that as well. Different cities, different countries, all of that from all over. And what you do is you take your cell phone and you insert your cell phone into the front of these goggles. And there's a special app that you download. And then you take this and you just, scan it on the page and it'll pull up that country or landmark, and then your child gets to hear some information about that country or landmark and get to see it as well in 3D or virtually. Am I saying that right? So this is a really fantastic way to add in some fun, especially for younger kids. So we will be using this alongside, what we can with our American history and also the different genres of music from around the world. We will go ahead and do a little bit more research on that country from where that music comes from as well. So I think that this is a fantastic way to incorporate more geography because geography is something that I just struggle with. I have a hard time remembering to incorporate geography other than pulling, like a map out and saying, okay, this is where it's at. So this will give us a little bit more information. Now, the only other thing, I don't know what I did with it. Where'd I put it? In my lap. The only other thing that I'm going to be incorporating that I wanted to mention that I just think is phenomenal is scrunch maps. So I do have the world one as well that we will pull out if we need to go over, the different areas where we're studying our music, but I have one on the United States. So I do want to make sure that we are going to be studying the location. I'm going to have this right. Yeah. The different locations of the states, where they're at, their state capital, just learning about things like that. So this scrunch map, I just love. So you pull this out, you can scrunch it right back up so it doesn't take up much space and put it back in its bag. So again, we're going to be focusing on all aspects of American history. Well, not all, but we're going to be focusing on some different aspects of American history, areas that we didn't really focus on before, and trying to learn new things throughout American history. That sounds weird too, because history is not new, but you know what I mean. Again, I have no clue how long this is going to take us, so I'm not going to be having like a monthly morning basket video, but when I do switch up our morning basket, if I do at all, we'll see, I will definitely post a video on that. But I don't want to rush through this. I want to take our time. I want to have fun with it. I want to just learn all different angles of American history, things that we haven't really focused on before. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.